This is Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on the zone. Sahni joins me.
Come on, how
Good
are
to see you, mate. I'm good, mate. I'm good. No Frank Warren today, so I said to you, you're second in line at Queensbury nowadays?
Definitely not, but yeah, unfortunately Frank's feeling under the weather. He told me just make sure I split them up if they start fighting. Thankfully they didn't, but if they did, I've been doing my press-up, so I'm ready to go.
Do you know what's funny about you saying that? Me and Joe said if they were to kick off, we would love to see what your reaction would be.
I was watching the other day. I did Sam Maxwell and Akeem Ennis-Brown, right? And they got up. It was one of those. I was in the middle. They were arguing. Then they got up. And my reaction was I ducked down. I just went down like that. It's quite an amusing image. And then you compare it to Frank. Once upon a time had Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, and he was like separating them. And then there's me cowering away from Sam Maxwell and Akeem Ennis-Brown. Levels to this game, mate.
Yeah, you can tell who's been brought up in the fight game
100%.
and who's joined late. We've got Liam Davies doing media bits over there, Shabaz Masoud doing media bits over there. As well as a good fight, there's a little bit, actually more than a little bit, there's some bad blood here. We saw that after Shabaz's win when him and Liam had a little bit ringside. Nice little bit of needle in this all-British matchup.
I feel like they were probably told today, after what happened last time, just conduct yourselves properly, because after Shabaz's fight where Liam came into the interview, something that I did set up, I did want that to happen. I was like, make sure security is close. I didn't expect it to go as far as it did though, where people were shouting stuff that maybe they shouldn't have been shouting. It got a little bit hairy there. So I think they were probably told today, just nothing too bad, but both said good things up there, both really believe in themselves, and both want to walk away with the IBO World Super Bantamweight title November 2nd. It's a great fight, and I love it when there is that little bit of needle. You know, there's all the, it's a gentleman's sport, etc. Of course it is, we know that. But in the build-up to the fight, everything before the first bell, you can have a little bit of fun, and don't take it personally. And I think that's kind of where we are.
Yeah, well, we won't cover it, but for what's happened in the last couple of weeks, I think we've realised that people are more interested when you're less of a gentleman and a little bit more of a troublemaker.
Sure.
Don't
tell Chris Billam-Smith, the gentleman.
True.
Don't tell him that.
That is a good
point.
point.
We'll have to change his name.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
I do like what Liam said, though, despite the fact that, like I said, there is a bit of bad blood.
Yeah.
He mentioned they fought twice as an amateur in Tamworth and Coventry, and now they're about to do it live on TNT.
Yeah.
Headlining at Resorts World in Birmingham. So for both of them, just like a massive glow up.
Yeah, it's a big glow up. I think Liam Davis's glow up, in particular, look, he's my guy. I've been championing him all the time. I'm talking about how we'd smash Inoue to bits on Twitter every day, right? But he's my guy. I'm a big fan of him. His glow up from taking a fight in lockdown on a Matchroom show that initially he told his dad, I don't know, should we do that? Should we do it? And his dad said, yes, do it. Get yourself in the gym. I know it's short notice. Lose the weight, go and fight, and we'll do it. He became the English bantamweight champion, and he has not looked back since. The glow-up is amazing. English champion, British champion, European champion, IBO world champion. And some of the fellas that he's beat, you look at Baluta. We know how good Baluta is. He's beaten him. Mark Leach. Who wants to fight Mark Leach? He does. He had him over in the first round. I think he's one of the best talents that we've got in this country. And I think Shabaz Masoud, this fight could bring out the best in him. Gives him a bit of a marquee-ish name. He's a name known amongst boxing circles and could propel him onto even bigger and better fights. I like this fight a lot.
Yeah, whatever angle you come from, it is a brilliant fight. Yeah. But the angle that everyone loves, especially you love, and all of you guys here love, is Matchroom versus Queensbury.
Yeah.
Only because you're giving a serious ass kicking at the moment.
Mate, if we lost every fight, do you think I'd have even brought it up? Queensbury Matchroom? No, I'd have just left it. I'd been like, two great fights, promotional companies, doesn't really matter, does it? But Queensbury are on a heck of a run. Eddie rightly pointed out Opatai did beat Ellis Sorrow. That did happen, but everyone's focusing on what happened in the 5 versus 5. The Kakachi wins, things like that.
Dubois was worth 10 points, apparently.
I think Eddie said that was worth 20 points.
Or was it 10 for a win, 20 for a knockout?
Maybe. I feel like it was worth 100 points to us, because that was a big win. But yeah, look, it's a good added extra layer. Masoud sounded like he didn't particularly care about that layer, but Liam Davies did demand someone from Matchroom that he could smash up. So this could be the man. Let's see.
Yeah, in a few interviews I've done, he has mentioned that anyone from Matchroom could be getting it.
Yeah, anyone.
So I guess this is his chance. Talking of Matchroom versus Queensbury, and I said this to Eddie, it made him chuckle. You backed him. You backed Eddie on Twitter against Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah.
I said to him, I was like, Ed, you won't believe it. There's Sahni. He's backed you on Twitter. He went,
Yeah, look.
sorry. I think he double took it. Sorry. Dead.
Yeah,
I was
we're all friends. I like Eddie. I get on quite well with Eddie. I think he's a funny guy. And but that particular...
And the criticism of Joshua from Oscar De La Hoya was outright unfair.
Do you know what it was like? It was more suggesting that Joshua hadn't been promoted correctly. It was something like that. But Joshua's got more money than he can ever spend. He's been a 2-time unified champion. He's filled out stadiums. You tell someone at the start of their professional career that all of this is going to happen. That is an overwhelmingly successful professional career. You can't say he's been promoted badly. You just never can. He's one of the best promoted fighters I think ever in terms of what he's achieved. So yeah, it's all well and good, saying Dubois beat Joshua and all that. That did happen, but you can't ever say Joshua got promoted badly. It makes no sense whatsoever. But I like Oscar De La Hoya as well. Everyone's all friends there.
What do you make of the Clapback Thursdays? Whatever they're
good
called.
Fun, isn't it? I mean, yeah, it's all content, isn't it? Content for you to sink your teeth into. Yeah, I wonder if Frank's going to start doing one now as well. Let's keep an eye on that. That'll be interesting if Frank starts
Frank would target.
I don't know, because everyone's friends now. It's all changed, Oscar. It's all changed.
Yeah, the landscape has changed. Let's reflect on Wembley a little bit, because we haven't spoken to you on here since. Crazy night from all aspects. Not necessarily the result, but the manner of the result. 97,000. Even Liam Gallagher, which to play such a small portion of the night when you're Liam Gallagher just shows what an event it actually was.
Yeah.
Mate, what a mental week.
It was tremendous, and it culminated in Daniel Dubois doing what he did to Anthony Joshua. Many people, most 9 out of 10 people were backing Joshua to win that, and backing Joshua to knock Dubois out. The whole theory was, by everyone almost, if Anthony Joshua hits Daniel Dubois with the same right hands that Filip Hrgović was constantly landing on Daniel Dubois, it's good night. But he did take a couple. But he gave more than a couple, and just a tremendous coming-of-age performance. And I'm proud of Daniel Dubois. I'm a big fan of the guy. Known him since his debut. I think I did his first ever interview with him all those years ago when he came into the Queensbury office, and I sat.
How different was that to the Daniel Dubois we saw on AJ Fight Week?
It was different. Look, I was asking him questions. He must have been 17, 18 years old. And he wasn't looking at me, he was just looking at his dad to reply. But I'm doing the interview, talk to me, and now look at him. He's a man. He's grown up. He's found his feet. You saw his interview on TalkSport the other day. That's great, right? He is the man. And look at that Ring Magazine top 10. He has the highest knockout percentage. He is the second youngest because Justice Hooney's in there. You could argue Justice Hooney. Hey, maybe Jarrell Miller should be in there instead of Justice Hooney, but that's one for another day. But he's a real problem, and he's going to be difficult to beat with this belief, this power, this speed, this volume, this tenacity, this chin. He's unbelievable right now. So shout out Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, coming in at Ring Magazine number 3, when the two above you are like literal generational greats.
100%.
Just shows 100%. Kind of where he's at.
And look at what he did against Oleksandr Usyk. That if they rematch, I'm sure that will be a topic brought up. I'm sure that clip of him dropping him with a body shot will go viral again, and Usyk will say, no, he hit me down there, and Daniel will say, no, I hit you up here.
Are you ready to revisit that? Because I feel like we had 4 months of that argument.
Let's do it again, Oscar. Let's go back.
What did you make of what Don Charles said, that Usyk was fake? I suppose as Daniel Dubois' trainer, he's going to back Dubois and say it was fake, you're a cheat, you were acting. I kind of wouldn't expect much else from Daniel's trainer, I guess.
Daniel's got, Don Charles has obviously got his view based on what he saw that night. He was closer to the ring than almost anyone in the world. So
Other than the man who made the decision, the referee.
Yeah, so he knows what he saw that night, and if that's how he feels, that's how he feels.
Yeah. In terms of the rematch, I know Eddie was saying that it's what AJ wants. Does it make sense from both sides in the sense that AJ will want revenge despite the one-sided manner of the win for Daniel, and 97,000, Wembley, a rematch would arguably be even bigger, would work for Daniel when it comes to that capacity because he's not going to get Tyson yet, he's not going to get Usyk yet. Is it a rematch that works for both sides?
I mean, I don't know. All the important people have got to sit down and figure that out. So
you've got to sit down and figure that out?
Definitely not. I'll be sort of listening with my ear pressed up against the door. But listen, I can't imagine Daniel Dubois would shy away from that fight. Daniel Dubois has beaten Anthony Joshua very, very convincingly. So if you say to Daniel Dubois, would you like to fight him again? I can't imagine he'll be like, no, I'm too scared. I didn't like those right hands. He'll be like, I get to do it again? Great. So I don't know. Let's see what happens there. What I do know is that this heavyweight division right now is just unbelievable. And there's probably fighters all up and down the top 10 that could beat each other. Like you look at someone like Ajit Kabayal, you look at Joe Parker, guys like this, and stylistically there's so many. This is what Riyadh season's given us. We've no longer got to fantasize about these fights. So if he lands on him, it's going to, okay, well, let's do the fight and let's find out. Zhang against Wilder, fights like that happening, Parker against Wilder. It's a real great time to be a fan of boxing and the heavyweight division.
Yeah, it's a great time for heavyweights. It's a great time to be working for Queensbury with the heavyweight stable that you lot are rocking as well. The Gypsy King, one of the greats. Daniel Dubois, moving on to be one of the greats. Fabio Wardley, one of the fights of the year, rematching it again in Riyadh. Moses Atalma, the future. Yeah. Probably people are missing out, but I mean, they even said it. Adam Cattrall said it on TalkSport, didn't he? Yeah, look. Queensbury right now are running the heavyweights.
I think Frank and George have done a tremendous job. They've had a vision. They made it very clear a few years ago that this was kind of what they were going to do. Remember, they signed up Tyson Fury back in late 2017 for him to make his debut in 2018. His rebirth, so to speak. And the intention was this guy will go on to rule the heavyweight division. He's got the talent. He's coming back. He's the lineal champion. And he did it. And others started following. And it's been tremendous. And just the watchful eye that the guys have got on guys like Moses Atalma to just know he's the next one coming through. To sign up Daniel Dubois when he was an amateur. A real eye for talent. And this stuff, it hasn't happened by accident. It's due to a lot of hard work from Frank and George.
Yeah. Well, again, I'll go back to what they said on TalkSport. It was, I think, along the lines of, apologies if I get this wrong, Frank's got the eye for a fighter, but Eddie's got the eye for a commercial, like a commercial giant. Probably harsh on both, because Frank knows commercially how to build a fighter, and Eddie does have an eye for a fighter.
Yeah.
But kind of saying that that's Frank's strength and that's Eddie's strength?
I don't know about any of that. I think they can actually both do both things. Frank, commercially, Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte did sell out Wembley Stadium very quickly. That was a very commercial fight. That was 94,000 that night. And Eddie's picked plenty of fighters as well. He's taken fighters from debut to world title. I'm sure he'll continue to do that as well. So I think they both do both.
Yeah, I'll stick with that. Last one, we had the media day for October the 12th the other day. Now, not many people get to sit down with Biv and Beterbiev. Yeah. I did with Beterbiev. Yeah. He's cool for someone whose mother tongue isn't English. Could be quite quick-witted, a little bit cold as well. What did you make of them two?
I've got your interview. You've done a lot of views on your interview, haven't you?
It's on 110k.
Yeah.
Not that I'm checking, by the way.
No. Well done. I've got it saved, so I'm gonna watch it on the flight to Riyadh eventually. I like doing things like that. But well done on that. And I like Beterbiev. I've had a few interactions with him now.
He's
obviously,
wicked.
Yeah, he is wicked. He fought Anthony Yard, and I got to be around him a little bit more there. He's cold, as you say. There is a dry wit. He's very, very humble. He don't go around saying, yeah, I could batter everyone. Like there's, I've put out the clip. I don't know if you've seen it, but me and him were talking afterwards, and the cameraman said, because he wasn't admitting to being able to beat anyone up, he was saying, okay, what about Dev? Would you beat Dev? And he was like, and I'm like, yeah, well, it's 50-50. And it's like, yeah, it's a 50-50. One punch could change everything. So either he heavily backs me as a fighter, or he's just really, really humble. I reckon it's probably a mix of both.
I reckon it's the first one.
Yeah,
I reckon he backs you. That made me laugh because I said something to him. and he said, "Oh no, it was obviously about the Dimitrov fight or a potential Canelo fight?" And he went, "Yeah, I'll try my best."
Yeah,
you're 20-0 with
it.
20 knockouts.
Yeah.
What do you mean you'll try your best?
He does that. He says, I do my best. He says...
It's not sports day at school.
No.
I'll try my best.
And he also says, I'm just trying to be a good boxer. Maybe one day I'll be a good boxer. This geezer is the unified, lineal light heavyweight champion who's never been beat, who's got tremendous people on his resume. When he wins by knockout, which is every time, by the way, he just says, I was lucky. Too humble. Maybe he's not too humble. Whatever he's doing is working for him, but he's a very, very humble man. A humble, dangerous killer.
20-0, 20 KOs. That's the sort of luck that I wish I had.
Yeah.
One more thing. Obviously, this is a brilliant domestic fight. We know Riyadh season's given us brilliant fights, but there are some fights that have, I guess, been taken away from the domestic schedule. We've got a brilliant press conference later for Sahni Edwards-Galawi fight. Nick Ball this week. There is still real good domestic fights to make out there that this country can hold as well, because I know people will look and say Fraser and Fabio could do the O2 again. But in this country, we can still have some seriously strong fights, and I guess Nick Ball and this are a good example of it.
100%. So this is two unbeaten Brits with the IBO world title. Matchroom, of course, doing Sahni and Galal just a few weeks later in the same city. It is happening. These fights happen, and keep an eye on all these magnificent 7 shows that Queensbury do. These are just bangers after bangers.
Have we got one more coming before the end of the year?
I'm not sure. I think there might be. Keep your eyes peeled. But also, we just had like Joyce versus Chisora, which was what a fight that was. I think British boxing is very much alive, and all this stuff about bigger fights going to Riyadh. Sometimes in the past, it would be Vegas where all these big fights would go, the glitz and the glamour. That doesn't mean British boxing just dies underneath. No, British boxing keeps on going. We're just seeing that now. It's evolved into Riyadh. Riyadh is the global destination for big-time boxing. It doesn't mean British boxing dies. Everyone wants to get there. Everyone's got to perform. So shows like this, Liam Davies, Shabaz, Masoud, they need to put on good performances. And it's a delight for British boxing fans.